Welcome to Undercurrents of Romance, the show that celebrates every subgenre of romantic fiction. In each episode, I peel back the layers of your favorite love stories and chat with the talented authors who bring them to life. I'm your host, Tracey Devlyn. Now, let's dive in with today's guest. Hello, Romantics. I'm here with AdriAnne May to talk about her new adult romantasy, Exquisite Ruin. Welcome to the show, AdriAnne.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Very happy to have you. What a gorgeous cover they did for you.
I got
Just
lucky.
gorgeous. Yeah, and this is a galley copy, but they even had a really neat graphic on the back, which I had never seen before, so that was a lot of fun, but just a really exquisite ruin, exquisite cover. So
Thank you. Yeah.
is it true? I came across this information. I want to run it past you. Is it true that you faced down a grizzly bear to save your pug?
Yes, I actually did. We were driving the Alaska Canada highway, and we pulled over to look at a mama grizzly, a sow with her two cubs walking along the other side of the highway. And I rolled down the window to take a clearer picture of it. And my pug, he was a young pug at the time, he leapt out of the window and onto the highway and took off running after the grizzly bear. And so I leapt out of the car and ran toward this bear and grabbed him and took him back. And my husband was not thrilled with me because I could have died, but but I saved my pug. So
Oh my gosh. So did the grizzly bear just kind of look at it and like, what is that?
it
That
was
little
more
guy.
concerned with me, I think,
Yeah.
but I
True.
managed
Yeah, you're a bigger
to
target, right? At that
yeah,
point.
yeah, and a threat to cubs. So yeah, sows are always the most dangerous. So
Oh
yes.
yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, you probably were just acting pure instinct there,
Yep,
right?
I didn't
Yeah.
think at all.
Yeah. You're in mama mode. Absolutely. Well, your pug's inspired a rather interesting but very fierce creature in exquisite ruin. Would you like to talk to us about pig, dog,
Ugly.
lion?
Yes, yeah, Pogly. Yeah, just the animal character that they meet. I can't say too much about what he is for spoiler reasons, but he's a chimera, a kind of a mythical combination of a bunch of different animals, and I just was inspired by my pugs to make him less of a lion, griffin type creature and more of a pug base with a lion's mane and claws and piggy tail and wings that don't work very well in keeping with a pug.
It was great, great character.
Oh,
The first I won't again. I know you will be careful with spoilers and things like that, but the first scene with Poggle was just so funny and adorable, and just I could totally picture this creature in my mind. So you did a wonderful
oh,
job with
great.
that. Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
there was a lot there that you kind of knitted together and melded together and everything. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he's good comic relief. The book can be, be darker and heavier, and he's he's a bit of light. So
Yes, absolutely, which we need. Yeah, absolutely. Besides the adorably ugly Pogly, what else can you tell us about Exquisite Ruin?
It's about Sadari, the main character, wakes up in a maze with remembering absolutely nothing except that she's a powerful sorceress, and with her is Daesra, who is a dangerous and beautiful immortal demon, and he absolutely hates her for reasons she doesn't remember, and but despite their initial animosity, they have to work together to survive this maze. And as they go through it, Sadara begins to remember more about her past of kind of passion and betrayal. And even as a new fire is kind of reigniting between them, Sadara begins to wonder if Dacer is the monster she took him to be, or maybe if it's her.
Yeah, yeah, it was great. It was such a for me, it was such a unique story and premise. And then towards the end, I was like, what is going on? It was so amazing. I don't know how your
Oh,
mind brought
thank
all of
you.
that together and did that, but really huge kudos to you. That
Oh,
was
thank you.
that was some beautiful storytelling right there. That's what that
Oh, I
was.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is the first book in a brand new series for you.
Yes.
A series that's a slightly new adventure. You have a new pen name, it appears, a new
Yep.
publisher, and a whole new, well, not a whole new subgenre, but a slightly new subgenre as well. So how's that experience been for you?
It's been great. I yeah, I've started in writing young adult fantasy and heavily romantic fantasy, but I've always wanted to break into adult, and my agent was very encouraging, and so I wrote this idea. And gallery, just my editor loved it, and it was the fastest deal I've ever had happen. It was like 5 days from sending it to her offering on
Wow.
it, and yeah,
Wow.
it was quite a whirlwind. Very exciting, and gallery has been great so far, and I'm super excited to meet a whole new audience. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh, great. I'm
adventure.
so happy for you. That's wonderful when you do something different like that and it turns out to be a really wonderful thing.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
recall what sparked the idea for this story?
Yeah, I was lying in bed, like it happens sometimes, and I
As
was
one
just
does.
thinking about, yeah, not sleeping, and thinking about what I wanted to write next. And I just decided to focus on like what's absolutely the thing that you would want to read. And I grew up inspired, or I loved the movie Labyrinth as a kid, and Legend, those old, kind of 80s
Yeah, yeah,
fantasy
yeah.
movies. And I have always wanted to tell a story in a labyrinth. So I was just like, okay, right there, I have the labyrinth. I want a maze. So where do I go from there? And I was just fascinated by the idea of a couple trapped in a maze and kind of unable to escape each other or their problems or their arguments, and being forced to reckon with those things. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of built it out from there.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I this this is probably about a year ago I came across the movie Labyrinth and the graphics are very interesting to watch nowadays, but
Yes.
it was an amazing movie at the time.
Yeah. David Bowie, classic.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So one of the things I like to dive into on this show is finding the story's undercurrent with the author, and it's that second beating heart of the story
Mm.
that helps propel the story forward and flows just beneath the lover's journey. Do you know what the undercurrent is that's flowing beneath? And I'll probably mess up their names, Sidari and Desiree.
Deseret,
Desiree,
yeah,
Desiree, thank you.
yeah.
I say them differently as I'm reading
Yeah.
it, and so it's like, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'd really say kind of the what I touched on a little bit, themes of, really forgiveness and redemption, and kind of arriving at that place by getting to know yourself better. Um, and like when a couple is so entrenched against each other, can they ever overcome those walls to either find forgiveness for each other or to earn forgiveness? And it was really fun. Well, the maze is kind of a literal representation of a couple's defensive relationship with lots of walls, but it was really fun to play with perspective to really get at those themes. Because I use the amnesia trope, Sidari wakes up with no memory, and she kind of gets to discover and learn about her past along with the reader, almost kind of like as an observer.
Yeah.
And that kind of distance lets her examine like what she's done, and kind of view it from a different perspective. And yeah, well, will she decide to change? Does she embrace the decisions that she made? Does she wonder why she did those things? And so it was really fun to play with those themes through that particular lens. And of course, as you know, I play with perspective more later, but I don't want to
Yeah.
spoil anything. So.
Right, right, right. Yeah, great. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And you mentioned about the amnesia trope. I do always ask, are there any other tropes in the story
Yeah.
that you can think of? Forced proximity comes to my
Yes.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. My favorites: forced proximity in the maze, of course, and enemies to lovers. It's really more like lovers to enemies to lovers to enemies. So yeah, that one, and second chance romance, because
Mm,
they're meeting again, after a big break betrayal,
yeah,
and let's see what other ones. That's pretty. Oh, and the amnesia trope. Yeah, those
yeah,
are the main
yeah.
ones.
That's a good list for sure. Have you read any romance books lately that you really, really loved and that you'd recommend
Mm.
to our readers?
Yeah, I really kind of dove into. I've read romance off and on, of course, but in writing an adult romance for the first time, I really
Yeah.
kind of dove in and started reading a lot more. And two that have really stood out to me lately is "The Truth According to Ember" by I think that Danica Nava. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's wonderful. It's a contemporary romance. And I absolutely loved it. And it was just very unique because the main characters are Native American, and it's just really wonderful reading such a fresh, great perspective.
Hmm.
And another one, it's more on the fantasy romance side. I read Trial of the Sun Queen by Anisha J. Tooley, and it's just an incredibly addicting series. And it's a four books, and I'm in the toward the end of the third one right now. And yeah,
Oh,
it's hard
great.
to get any work done when, when reading
Isn't
those.
that lovely as a writer when you find a book or a series like that that just totally absorbs you and can turn off your editing brain?
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
because
Uh-huh.
I know whenever after I started writing, that was like one of one of the sad moments that I realized I'm like I'm not reading like I used to. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not reading just for the pure enjoyment of it for
yeah,
the escape. I'm actually analyzing these
yep,
authors, you know, and how they're doing things now. So,
yeah. I mean, it's a great tool to become a better writer, but sometimes you just want to
yeah.
shut that off and enjoy the book.
Yeah, 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 for sure, yeah. All right. Is there any story that you would love to write, but you just haven't taken the plunge for whatever reason?
Let me think. Not I this was kind of the plunge for me, really. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure I will have a new one shortly, but it was really kind of wanting to write an adult fantasy romance
yeah.
and a book set in a labyrinth, and so I just kind of took a plunge, but I'm sure I will
Yeah,
find another one soon.
yeah, no,
One, I
absolutely.
mean,
That works.
actually, I'm writing it also. I've always wanted to tell an underworld journey story,
Ah,
and not to give too many spoilers, but the book two in this series is an underworld journey. So I'm in the
okay.
process of doing that also. So
Oh,
kind of
that's
living the dream.
amazing.
It's great.
Yeah, no, that's great because you know sometimes authors will have these stories in their minds, and like I said, for whatever reason, they just haven't taken that plunge, and but it keeps nagging at them, keeps nagging at
Hmm.
them to write it, write it, write it, and so that's really wonderful that you've uh, faced whatever it was that you know was preventing you before to write the story, and not only are you doing it once, you're doing it a second time. So I, you know, that's folks who aren't writers, maybe they don't quite understand how much courage that can take because
Yeah.
the fear of failure is is real.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with every book, it's kind of a new chance and also a new risk. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Where do you like to write? Do you have any rituals that you like to do before you get started?
I'm kind of boring, but I mean, I definitely have rituals. I'm easily distracted, so I kind of get all of my distractions out of the way in the morning, like check the news, do, the emails, things that I need to do,
Yeah.
and then I shut off my internet and write in one place all the time, either my office space here or in Alaska, and I don't leave it. I don't have any noise or music that I write to, and just try to keep quiet and keep focused.
All right, great. Well, thank you for that. Before we go, can you give us a hint of what's coming up next? Any exciting projects you can talk about?
Yeah, I have a young adult romantic fantasy called Lady Dragon coming out in August, and so two book release years
Oh, wow.
exciting. Sorry,
Yeah.
and I'm finishing up the very last bit of the sequel to Exquisite Ruin, and it will be out next February. So
All
yeah.
right, great. You already have a date. Do you have you seen the cover yet for it, or is that
I have
still
seen
to
some
come?
preliminary art for it, and it's by the same artist who did Exquisite Ruin.
Yeah.
So it's a book's called Divine Descent, and I am very excited to see the finished cover.
Well, we will keep an eye out on your social media for that. That'll be fun. Uh, Folks, when this episode airs, Exquisite Ruin will be out, so be sure to order your copy today. Find out more about Adrienne and her books at strickland.com, which is your
Hmm.
alter ego, correct? That's your young
Yeah.
adult
Well,
pending or
AM Strickland is my young adult, and
AM
my middle name
Strickland.
is May, so AdriAnne May, AM Strickland. You can go to adriannemay.com as well. They go to the same place.
Okay, all righty, great. Um, what other social media outlets are you most active on?
I'm most active right now on Instagram, at Adrianne May Strickland, and on Threads by the same handle. And I'm poking around at TikTok, but that's under Adrianne May Strickland as well. But that's a very new for me using video.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
trying.
for sure.
So yeah, those are the
Okay,
main places.
all right. We'll make a note of those. All right, Adrienne, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing book launch on the 25th, right? Do I have that date
Yeah,
correct?
that's
March
correct.
25th? All
Yeah.
right, wonderful.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
yeah, you bet you. I appreciate you joining me all the way from Spain. I know it's raining there today, but in my mind it's sunny and beautiful. So I hope that that follows here in a few hours.
Yeah, should. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Many thanks to everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Undercurrents of Romance. You can find more information about the show at tracydevlyn.com/podcast. Undercurrents of Romance is a proud member of the Authors on the Air Global Radio Network. I'll be back soon with another great romantic read. In the meantime, enjoy the adventure, everyone.